very good day to all you patriots out there, and welcome to Tall Ship Tuesdays. If this is your first time embarking with us, welcome aboard. Prithee, watch the introduction video on this page, as well as the introduction video on the Tall Ship Tuesdays page by my able seaman Barlow. These introductions will get your sea legs for the voyage we're taking here together. And now, with that swab of the deck out of the way, enjoy the content the crew and I have in store for you this week. Shipmates, do you recall the tale of outsailing HMS Solibay from a few weeks past? 'Tis a fine tale indeed, one I heartily enjoyed sharing with you, but, alas, I confess, I got ahead of myself in sharing that action so soon. I tried to outsail the wind. Much comes before that action, and much comes after, as able seaman Barlow can attest. In order to recount it all, I must set our sails properly. So, as able seaman Barlow is showing you parts of the ship this week, I begin where all voyages do, at the beginning. Mark me now, shipmates. This is the birth of the Navy, and, if I may, the small part I played in it. The time is late 1775 when I join the American cause. Soon, I'm offered command of Providence. I decline. Does this surprise you, shipmates? Providence features a fore and aft style of rigging. At the time, I hadn't sailed a ship, not to mention a sloop of this rigging before, so I thought it rather imprudent to begin my career in the Continental Navy commanding a ship and didn't know how to sail. I knew that Captain Saltonstall had been offered command of the flagship Alfred, a three-masted square rigger. Now there's a ship I knew how to sail. I began my service as a senior lieutenant aboard Alfred instead. At the ceremony in Philadelphia, Alfred was one of 4 ships, yes, 4, commissioned into the Continental Navy. Alfred, Cabot, Columbus, and Andrew Doria. By comparison, the British Navy boasts 270 ships, too many to mention by name. So this inaugural commission of ours, in order to oppose them, is quite a daring act indeed. During the ceremony, for the first time in history, I raised the colonial flag above the Alfred. This is the first time a colonial flag's flown above any American vessel. Raising it is an honor I prize to this day. Shortly thereafter, Providence joins the fleet. She rendezvous from Bermuda, where a secret request dispatched her to raid British gunpowder, and, if you remember the Solibay story, where she'll return again. The request came from General George Washington himself. The sloop embarked from Rhode Island, called Katy. Upon her return, we refitted, commissioned, and renamed her Providence. Reckon why? Well, while at sea, the Continental Congress voted to create the Continental Navy. They purchased the sloop Katy from the colony of Rhode Island, made her the first ship authorized to sail for the new Navy. In order to honor Rhode Island's delegates and their push for the establishment of the Navy, Congress changed the name of the sloop from Katy to that divine name of Rhode Island's capital, Providence. And so, in Providence, witness the birth of the Navy, sailing under name inspired by heaven. Seems rather providential, don't you think? But our time to appreciate this is short. Aboard Alfred, Commodore Hopkins relays our orders. As tasked by Congress, we are to sail south, from Pennsylvania to Virginia. Once outside the Chesapeake Bay, we are to send ahead our fastest ship to gain intelligence of the enemy. If the enemy be not vastly superior, and there's a good chance she would be, we are to enter the bay and attack, take, or destroy all enemy ships present. If we execute these orders to completion successfully in Chesapeake, we are to do the same on the coast of the Carolinas, then sail northward to accomplish as much in Rhode Island. A mighty undertaking indeed, considering His Majesty's 270 royal ships that make up that word enemy. As David stepped forward to face Goliath with a sling and 5 stones, so we embark from Philadelphia to face the British with a sling of 5 sloops, 5 ships. January 4th, 1776. This was no July 4th, 1776. This was January. The first enemy we encountered was perhaps worse than the British. The winter. Do you recall the winter of 76? 'Twas bitter cold. The Delaware River, which Washington would cross in December, was choked with ice. We sail no more than 60 miles downriver before we're completely frozen on all sides. Have you heard the sound of ice crackling and groaning around the sides of a ship? 'Tis the sound of doom. The men's spirits break. We officers do our best to keep them busy and warm by drilling them on their duties and having them chop wood for the stoves. But they begin to desert. We're forced to stand anchor watch to keep them from abandoning ship. Striking, then, to still see our Continentals attempt to abandon ship. A British sailor wouldn't dare dream of it. That being said, a British sailor would be harshly punished for risking such an attempt. They serve their ships for years, if not for life. But Continentals sign on for only one voyage, and they may take their leave. As this one appeared doomed, they saw no issue with taking their leave. Remarkable. What could be done? I did my utmost to keep the men occupied. I drilled them, day in, day out, with combinations of my own devising, until we could fire the guns timely, in rhythm. This takes cold, hard time. Most of the men had been merchantmen or fishermen prior to entering service. As we drill, their hands scrape raw, break, bleed, and freeze over. Yet, as Washington and Baron von Steuben trained the Continentals at Valley Forge, this callousing toughens us into a fighting force. With the pomp and circumstance of commission ceremony gone by, the winter of 76 forges the true birth of the American Navy. If I'm at all recognized as the father of the American Navy, remember it's not all glory. No, not even the glory I yearn for it to be. The winter of 76 plays a major role, as do the many trials born since. This brings to mind, do you recall Thomas Paine's Common Sense? Well, you're met by fair wind, shipmates. I always keep a copy handy. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. but he that stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only that gives everything its value. Heaven knows how to put a proper price upon its goods, and it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom should not be highly rated. Thank you, Thomas Paine. Could not have said it better myself. Pray tell, how did these words land in you? I hope they strengthen your resolve during this challenging time in history. I know they do mine. Well, with that inspiring passage and a promise we'll continue this story where we're leaving it off, I must bid you adieu for the time being. Join us next week for what promises to be another adventure. You never know which way the wind will blow.